Hi, Divine Ones, and welcome to this week's episode of Embodied Divinity. Thank you for being present with me today. Big, deep breath in as we dive deep into some beautiful topics today. Last week, I talked about really allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling regardless of what society has said, and that you can create and manifest and be worthy of miracles in any version of the human experience. And today I want to take this out to a collective level. My heart's really been just ravaged by world events this year. But even more so, my eyes have become so much more open to the distortion present within a lot of spiritual communities. And I've noticed kind of like this segmented division in the world. So at the time of recording this, there is this massive interest and so many people talking about this rap battle between two celebrities, and then just totally interested in the Met Gala. And then there's this group of people that I've noticed who are all the way up in the cosmos, who have not come down on earth to experience humanity for even a moment. And they're the ones who are bypassing everything and saying, as long as I don't see it, it doesn't exist. And then there's the ones that are kind of in the middle or even shut down to spirituality because of these things. So we have these three columns of people. This first group is just so enmeshed in the human experience that they're out of touch with their divinity and spirituality. The second group is so out of touch with humanity that they're so consumed by spirituality. And none of these things serve our purpose for why we are here on earth as spiritual beings having a human experience. We are meant to be here, to be a part of humanity, to create change in humanity, to come together as one in love. And while doing so, knowing we are spiritual beings having this experience. That is the whole premise of embodied divinity. You're here now and you know what you are. And to really truly be embodied and to live in this energy of oneness, you have to be able to open your eyes to some of the atrocities that are going on in the world. You don't need to be consumed by it, and you don't need to invest energy in more of it. Right? When we are so hyper vigilant and constantly always talking about it, then we are actually investing more energy in the cause, in the division, in the war, in the violence. But there's a difference between that and taking an empowered stance in love and for change. For example, what I've been doing is, number one, using whatever resources I have to invest and donate in causes that are actually creating change on the ground, because I am not able to, as an only parent, be involved in something that would actually create the change needed on the ground. So there's a way to create a financial investment. Many people in the world cannot do that right now. And so, without letting yourself get caught up in the anger, let yourself feel the grief that comes with it. That collective grief is great to feel. It shows our oneness, it shows our solidarity. And like I said last week, you can create beautiful change with that. But a lot of people forget the power of standing in love alongside and using your voice to these to bring attention to these situations of injustice, not to contribute to the violence, but to heal the problem in the first place, and to create change at a systemic level requires the world to be awakened to what is happening. So you've heard me in quite a few episodes talk about us coming together in love, envisioning this new earth, allowing ourselves to see what is going on, and holding that intention in our heart that it is not okay. Using your voice to say this is not okay. There's beautiful movements rising all over the country in support of Palestine and Rafah and all of the things going on in the Middle East right now. And it's a beautiful thing, because what it's allowing us to do is to collectively come together to create change. And what it's doing is it's creating rage in the collective. And rage is a really sacred energy. It's what inspires change and revolution when it's acted on in alignment with your highest self and with the vision of love. And so we are stepping into this energy, kind of like the energy we had after Vietnam, where a lot of people came together to stand in love against what atrocities were so dissonant from their truth, from their soul. And it's heartbreaking that it requires so much pain and violence and death to wake up more of the collective. But when we turn a blind eye to it and pretend that these things are not going on, whether it's the war or whether it's the violence down the street or whether it's the poverty in your own town, when you pretend it doesn't exist, you are separating yourself from the other beings on this earth that you are connected to by the law of one. We are all here in this human experience together, and the only way to rise and alchemize and create change as a collective is for the entire collective to be on the same frequency. And so when we separate ourselves from our brothers and sisters and say, not my problem, we are not creating change. And there's a difference between taking on the weight of the world and helping everyone who you encounter, because that can get us out of balance very quickly, and between doing the small, simple things with intention. Spirit will lead you. I can't sit down and pray with or provide food to or water to every homeless person I encounter. But I can say a prayer for them. I can send blessings to them. I can envision them in love. I can see myself in them and them in me. We can stand in support in so many ways, and we can also use the power of prayer to change the hearts of those creating the division and spreading the violence. It's a prayer I say every single night. Dear God, Source, Universe, homies in the sky, please heal the hearts of all of those spreading hatred, violence, creating division and suffering. Please heal their hearts and let them return to love. And if that is not possible, then let the negative energies and violence they're spreading be rippled off of the innocent and back into their own hearts. And it's through planting these seeds of love and healing that we can make a difference. I know that when there's such big events going on, I know when you look at the poverty levels, when you are also yourself maybe barely getting by, it can be hard to think that you can make a difference. But turning a blind eye to things and pretending it doesn't exist is really only creating more resistance within you. You don't have to be afraid to look at the darkness in this world. It's in knowing that it's there that we can bring it into the light. And I'm not ignorant. I know that maybe these little small things are seen as really not making that much of a difference, especially to those going through it and those suffering right now. But it's what allows me to contribute in the ways that I can. And I believe that the universe knows the intentions of our heart, and those intentions ripple throughout the entire cosmos and do create significant change. Will it stop the violence in the world overnight? No. But when enough of us can come together and say enough of the government trying to tell us what we can do with our bodies, enough of the stipend on all of our wages, enough on taxation without representation, enough on war and genocide, enough on poisoned foods. When we can all come together, we can create powerful change. I don't know if you guys heard about what happened with the student loan debt, but there's been this whole process of trying to get student loan debt canceled forever, and it was in deferment over COVID. And then all of a sudden last October, the government was like, okay, we're going to start payments again. And I don't know the exact number, so don't quote me on this, but like something like 4 million people didn't make their payment when it was due because they just couldn't, right? And so because of that staggering number, the government decided to postpone it for another 6 months. And it's in these small ways we've got to realize the impact that we can make as a collective when we stand together. If every single person on the same day chose not to use social media, we would make a massive impact on those that use that to buy ads, to spend money on ads, to promote all of their different businesses. If we all chose to purchase locally with cash for an entire week and really just support our local vendors, our local bakers, our local artists for an entire week, we would create our whole own community economy, and we would take the power away from these big corporations. If all of us for one day didn't use a credit or debit card and instead put money back into our own hands, we would create a huge shift in power. But what's been happening is society has been wearing us down. Especially for millennials, I have witnessed so many horrors in my time on earth that my body is physically exhausted from it all. And I've seen so many people in communities talking about just how like the funny little memes that are, they're so funny, but they're so deeply rooted in truth. When we were having all of those sightings of extraterrestrials in Miami, like literally I saw over videos with over 1 million comments in agreement with like, yeah, aliens are here. I can't even care about this because right now I'm just trying to pay my bills and buy food for my kids. And this is what society has done, is it's created this distortion within us and our power of, we are so hyper focused on simply surviving the conditions that have been created that we don't even have the resolve to stand together and fight. And there's been such a burst of energy with all of these beautiful beings coming together to stand with Palestine and to stand against everything that is happening right now, which should give us hope because there's more fire within the collective. It's the idea that we can't make a change that has run rampant, and we've got to start to see the power that we have as a collective if we could come together organized under one truth, that love is the answer. That love and oneness and equality are what will create the change that we desire to see. And it's up to every single one of us to find it within us to stand in that, however you choose to do it. Like I said, it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be this huge thing. You just declaring in this moment that you stand in love, that you stand as one with this collective here on earth, and that you stand for change. Feel that fire in your bones. Know the difference we can make if we came together, and we can take this world back into the hearts of the people, and we can live in our own beautiful society built from love and for love. We can get back to the simple things, the things that truly matter: community, connection, collaboration, beautiful, yummy, nutrient-rich food that hasn't been modified or polluted or poisoned. Sitting and basking in the sun alongside nature. This is the way the earth has always been meant to be. And we are seeing the old systems crumble right before us. And it is a time to ask yourself, when everything changes, where do I stand? Let it be with love. Let it be with humanity. As you honor this human experience, knowing that you are a divine being, let yourself be here now. I know today's episode was a little bit more heavy, but I just feel called right now to bring attention to this crisis that the globe is experiencing. We've got to open our eyes. You do not need to be afraid of the darkness. Like I said in last week's episode, they are human experiences that we are having as spiritual beings. And we can make a difference as we rise and come together in love. I love you guys so, so much. On Friday, I'll be releasing a beautiful meditation to create global change, to come together in this frequency of oneness and heal the earth. I hope you enjoy, and as always, breathe deep and plan on miracles. We've got this.